Welcome to the Will Art for Food group. Today we're going to be continuing our focus on inexpensive meals that give you a lot of bang for your buck. This one today is a barbecue pulled pork sandwich with a traditional coleslaw, and we're going to be, out of this one, roughly getting about 12 servings for just $19.50. I'm going to break down the pricing in just a minute, but let's start with how we're going to make this together. All we really need is just a slow cooker, a knife, and a cutting board, and maybe one or two mixing bowls if you really want to get fancy about it. Our seasonings today are just salt, garlic powder, black pepper, a little bit of mustard, and then McCormick has a smokehouse maple seasoning, which I think is perfect for this. And then into our slow cooker, once we have this thing seasoned, we're going to be putting maple syrup, whiskey, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. And then we're going to let this sit for a grand total of 8 hours. So let's get going on it. One thing I always tell people, you cannot over season something. That's not a thing. So really, all of this in there, rub it into the meat. Flip this around, coat the underside as well. I do like a nice fatty pork loin for this because the fat really absorbs the flavor, and once it's all cooked down and we drain it off, the fat drains out anyway. You don't actually end up with fatty meat, you just end up with really great tasting pork. First up is our red onion. And maple syrup. Just let that nicely coat things. I'm using about 4.5, 5 ounces of this. It's just what I happen to have in the cupboard. We're going to use half of our bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's. I'm using their hickory brown sugar because I want to keep that sweetness in my barbecue today. Let's drizzle that all over the top. And the rest we'll use on the actual sandwiches themselves. 3, 4, 5 dashes of Worcestershire sauce. And then I'm going to use 6 ounces of whiskey. And then we are going to fill this just below the fill line with water. And so that's just going to sit for about 8 hours. So I wanted people to understand how I was able to do this for under $20. The pork loin is $10. I think it was $9.97 total. 2 red onions at 50 cents each is $1. The cabbage, which I used half of, was $1.25. Carrot is 60 cents. An 8-pack of onion rolls is $2.50. I used about $2.50 worth of whiskey out of a $11 bottle of whiskey. Barbecue sauce is $1.50, and I used roughly 25 cents worth of maple syrup from one of the giant half-gallon jugs of maple syrup we had in the cupboard. So all total, that's $19.60. So you have a 12 to 14, 16 serving meal, depending on how big you like to make your sandwiches, for really under $20. So traditional coleslaw is actually really simple. It's basically just 4 primary ingredients: mayonnaise, cabbage, green cabbage, red onion, and carrots. All you need to do is finely dice or shred all these items, combine them, and you've got a coleslaw. Now to me, I also add a little bit of spicy brown mustard, some salt, black pepper, and a little bit of white wine vinegar, and that just to me is really just a flavoring thing. The values on how much you put in for these things are entirely based on your own personal taste preferences, so feel free to play around with it. Watch how I'm doing it, give you how I want to make it, but coleslaws are coleslaws, so do your own thing. So first we're going to start by shredding our carrot and our green cabbage. For those who don't have one, this is called a mandolin for shredding. It is the best device in the world. They're like $10, just go get one. Next, gonna dice up our red onion. I'm gonna use a whole red onion. Some salt. Some white wine vinegar. And again, I like to use spicy brown mustard. Decent amount of that. Black pepper. And lastly, mayonnaise. Not Miracle Whip, not salad dressing, but actual mayonnaise. Mix it all up, and within just a few minutes, you have a perfect coleslaw. Well, it's been 8 hours, and as you can see, just a simple twist is pulling this apart, which means this is ready to go. Okay, so that's good to go. This is something I've set up because it's something that I feel like a lot of home chefs really kind of shoot themselves in the foot over on a regular basis, which is not utilizing everything that they've made. Yeah, I made a really great pulled pork, which you're about to see, but I also made a fantastic pork broth that I can use for a variety of different things. Even just reducing it down and making it as a au jus for this would be fantastic. So I've set up a large mixing bowl with a colander in it, and I'm gonna drain everything into that before I start pulling. Man, I wish you guys could smell this. It is absolutely amazing. It's called pulled pork because to make it, you literally just pull it apart. All you do, take a couple of forks and start pulling. And there we have it, all pulled apart. Now all you gotta do is get out your bun, throw some slaw on the bottom, a generous portion of that, barbecue sauce, and you have the perfect pulled pork sandwich. Enjoy.